Hi, welcome back to My Mom Life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today we're making homemade crescent rolls. Here are all of the ingredients that we need to make these crescent rolls. I have our flour, just all-purpose flour. We need 1 cup of warm milk. I just nuked it in the microwave for a few seconds, about 30 seconds. I have 6 tablespoons of butter. It's supposed to be softened. Mine got a little too soft, but it's gonna work just fine. I have 2 eggs, 1/3 cup of sugar. We're gonna need 2 tablespoons of yeast. I buy mine in the jar like this. It's just instant yeast. And then we will need some salt and some warm water. So the first thing we wanna do is dissolve our yeast in warm water, and then we are going to cream together the butter and sugar. While I let the yeast activate in the warm water, we're gonna go ahead and mix our butter and sugar together like I said, and then we will add in our eggs. I have my stand mixer here. I'm gonna go ahead and start out with the paddle attachment while we are creaming our butter and sugar and adding in a few other ingredients, and then once we start adding in the flour, I will switch to our dough hook. So I'm gonna start off with the butter, and then 1/3 cup of sugar. And we just want to mix this together until it is nice and creamy. Once the butter and sugar were creamed together nicely, I went ahead and added in the 2 eggs, and I mixed that until everything was nice and combined. I did scrape down the sides halfway through just to make sure everything was getting combined evenly, and then I went ahead and added in the milk, yeast mixture, and salt. All right, now that I have my eggs mixed in, I'm gonna go ahead and add in the warm milk. We need 1 cup of warm milk. And our yeast mixture, it has, hopefully you can see, it has started to get foamy and frothy, so I know my yeast is good. I'm gonna add that in, and then our salt. We need 2 teaspoons of salt. So I'm gonna keep my paddle attachment on to mix this, and then I'm gonna switch it once I start adding my flour in, like I said. All right, I have my dough hook attachment on, so now we're gonna add in our flour. I'm gonna start with 3 cups, and then we're gonna add at least 5, maybe 5.5 cups of flour. I'm gonna let this start mixing, and then we'll add in our other 2 to 2.5 cups as it's mixing. Okay, after 5 minutes of kneading in my mixer, it is done. The dough looks beautiful, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover this and let it rise for 45 minutes to an hour, or until it is doubled in size, and then we will roll it out into our crescent rolls. One thing I'm gonna do though before I cover it is spray around the dough. I'm gonna try and get underneath and on top of the dough with my spray canola oil, just to make sure that it doesn't dry out and it doesn't stick to the bowl as it's rising. After about an hour, my dough had doubled in size, so it was time to go ahead and split the dough in half and get to rolling out our circles and cutting our crescent rolls. So this is the part that might seem a little bit intimidating, but it is super easy, I promise. If I can do it, you can do it. So what you're gonna do is take your whole lump of dough and cut that in half as best you can. And then we're gonna set one half aside and work with one half at a time. So I'm gonna take this piece of dough and I'm going to roll it out into a circle. And then we're gonna cut that circle into quarters, and then to each fourth we're gonna cut into thirds. So we'll have 12 triangles that we will roll up into crescent rolls. And you're gonna roll them just like you would if you had the tube of crescent rolls from the store. It's super easy. You're just gonna take your triangle and roll it from the fat end all the way to the skinny end. And yeah, these turned out so yummy. I used a pizza cutter like I'm showing you here to cut the dough. It was just the easiest way to do it. So I'm gonna cut it into fourths, like I said, and then each fourth will get cut into thirds. We're gonna do that for both halves of the dough. So you're gonna end up with 24 crescent rolls, and they're good size crescent rolls. They're bigger than the ones, like I said, like the Pillsbury canned crescent rolls. They're definitely bigger than those. So once you get all of these rolled up, you want to put them on a parchment lined cookie sheet, and we're gonna let them rise for a second time. This time is only gonna take about 30-40 minutes until they're nice and puffy, and then we'll go ahead and bake them up. These did rise quite a bit, so I went ahead and spread them out and gave them plenty of room because I didn't want them touching when they were baking and sticking together. So I gave them plenty of space, and you're gonna cover these with a towel just like you did before. And like I said, give them another 30 to 40 minutes to rest, and then we will bake them in a 350-degree oven. Now I'm just gonna do the same thing with the other half of the dough. Get those on a cookie sheet, let them start rising. And then, like I said, we're gonna bake them up. And then as soon as they come out of the oven, the last step is to brush on some melted butter. And I am telling you, you will get so many compliments on these rolls. I was a little intimidated because I thought these might be hard to make, but they are not at all. I promise you this recipe is super easy, and I hope that you try it. These would be awesome on any holiday table. So once I let the dough rise for a second time, this is what they looked like. Now, some of them did kind of pull away from itself a little bit, if that makes sense. So you'll see me tucking in the tail down, like you're just gonna gently pull it back down and tuck it underneath. Just don't deflate your roll, just be gentle, but you can definitely tuck that down and it will stay and bake up beautifully for you. So once these were ready, I went ahead and popped them in the oven. It was 350 degrees, 15 to 20 minutes until they were golden brown. And then right out of the oven, my tray is still hot there, but I did combine both trays onto one tray so that I could brush them all with butter at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then they are ready to eat. These were so yummy, and I highly recommend this recipe. The only thing I changed was I added a couple extra tablespoons of butter to this recipe, so I will put that adaptation in the description box for you, but I will link the original recipe because I want to give her full credit. This is an awesome recipe, and I hope you try it. If you do, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe and stick around, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye guys.